Tam Talks explores life, spirituality, and general weirdness through quirky storytelling and laughter, lighting you up in your life journey. Let's go!
Hey everybody, welcome back. I just thought I would talk about this interesting reading that I had many years ago. I actually believe that it was the same guy who had passed through the message that the guy in the trench coat was my dad. This is from my Ghost in the Basement story. If you haven't listened to that podcast, go listen to that. But I'm pretty sure it was the same guy. And I wanted to mention this because when we go and get readings from psychics, mediums, whatever, oracle card, tarot card readings, any reading that you receive, I always have been taught by the great Michelle St. Ange. I remember that she was always very clear that we don't take what people are saying as law, right? When you go to get a reading done, you take it for what it is in that moment. And I don't know actually if it was Mrs. St. Ange or somewhere else or just my own personal belief. I don't know where this came from. But I always believe that and I believe that even in our day-to-day activities, but so even if what we are told comes through super clear and they can see that, like our future, and they can see the outcome of this, that, the other super clearly, that can change in an instant. So sometimes people get accusatory and, oh, they're a fake because they said this and it was not that. But I just want people to really have an open mind and to understand that when people who have intuitive gifts pass along things to you, I want to hope to say that 80% or more, 90%, have only good intentions for you and only passing on what they are receiving. I know there are people out there who maybe don't have pure intentions, but I want you to just always approach anything that you're told, just take it lightly. And if that stuff pans out and you tie it back at one point and you're like, oh my gosh, that's so cool, then just let it be that. If it doesn't, maybe it was someone who was not amazing. But there's also this, which my theory has always been, that, you walked out of your front door to walk your dog in the morning and you usually turn left, but for some reason you just felt that you're going to turn right. Well, now the entire landscape of your life may have changed because you decided to turn right instead of left. And the same goes for when you have these readings. That is what they see in that snapshot of your life, in that moment of what you are experiencing, that current path that you are on. Again, you leave that reading from them and the entire path changes because you took a different route home than what you were planning. So just keep that in mind. And I always believe that we aren't meant to pass along information that will scare people or will hurt someone's feelings. Or I feel that if you are a beautifully heart-centered being who is full of integrity, passing along messages to others, that you do have a positive kind of vibe, and you can discern what to pass along and what not to. Because again, here I am in my teen years. We'll go back to a quick little story. I remember going to, and this was the one that was at a restaurant. That's why I believe it was the same guy. And I sat down and paid my whatever, $20 or whatever it was at the time to get a quick reading. And I sat down with this man, and he probably was in his, well, who knows? I was a teenager, so I thought people in their 40s were old. And now that I'm 47, I'm like, I'm not old, I'm so young. Anyway, so he was either in his 40s or 50s. Maybe he was in his 30s. No. Anyways, I sat down with him, And he wasn't like super friendly. He was kind of abrupt and just this like rugged kind of way, but I don't really care. Like I love people. I love different types of people. I love different styles. I love eccentric people. I can sit down and talk to anyone. I freaking love people's stories and their eccentricities, all of that. Anyways, so I sit down with this guy who's a medium, right? I sit down and I'm like, yes, this is going to be fun. What am I going to learn about? Am I going to get a boyfriend? Like, what's going on? Sit down. He looks at me and he's staring in my eyes for a minute and he's like, do you know that you can see death in people's eyes? And I'm like, what? And I'm a teenager. Remember, this is when I'm like in this time of going, okay, I don't want to see anything weird. I don't want to hear ghosts. I don't want to like feel people getting murdered or raped. Like, I don't, can we just not? And this guy does that. And I look at him and I'm like, yeah, because clearly, why would I deny that? And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, well, yeah, I guess I do. Like, I guess I would know that. Anyways. And so then he continued, he scared the liver out of me. Like, to this day, it's terrifying because I look at people, especially if they're not well, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to make eye contact because I don't want to know. Like, anyways, so the whole point of this story is to tell you to take things lightly. And if you do have an experience like that where you feel uncomfortable, back then I didn't know about sage and Palo Santo and I wasn't Reiki trained, so I didn't know about clearing my energy and severing cords and cutting ties with people. But if that ever happens to you where you just don't feel good about an interaction with anybody, you can just clear that energy out and clear that thought. Don't let anybody impress upon you anything that you aren't comfortable with. So anyways, that's just my thought with that story. So thank you once again for listening. I hope you'll join me again. And yeah, peace out.
Thanks for hanging out and listening to my wild and wacky Tam Talks. Follow Tam Talks to be notified of new episodes. Peace out!